So speaking about Gestalt, what are some of the things that I liked? What are some of the things that didn't make sense, so on and so forth? So one of the things that I absolutely liked about the theory was the idea that you're trying to deal with things in the here and the now. So you may talk about things that happened in the past or people in the past, experiences, etc., but you're trying to relive them. And so another idea and thing that I liked was utilizing the experiments to try to bring those things to the here and now so that you're not just talking about them, you're acting upon them, but then you're kind of reliving them or re-experiencing them in the moment so that you can understand how what may have occurred in the past is affecting you in the present. And so that's one thing. Second thing I really liked was the idea that the counselor or the therapist has to really be attuned to the words being used as well as the gestures, whether it's a hand on the heart, whether it's clenched fist or a clenched jaw. What are those exaggerations or things that you're doing non-verbally that are attuned to maybe an experience that you have, which ties directly into the energy and the blockage of energy was another thing that I really liked. And being part of martial arts for so many years, energy is certainly an important facet of learning, different types of arts and techniques. But anyway, so that blockage of energy I thought was really interesting as well. I also, of course, really liked the experiments. I really liked the empty chair technique. I thought that made a lot of sense, considering looking at dreams and rather than interpreting the dream, but trying to bring it back and to experience it again and be a person who's talking to an empty chair for one of the people that might have been in the dream was certainly of interest as well. The one area that didn't make a whole lot of sense and that I didn't really relate to was just the sheer focus on the dream work, right? The fact that you're not interpreting it is fine, but the fact that you're trying to bring it to the here and now, I think is also fine. But it just seemed like he was so focused on it, hyper-focused, kind of like Freud was with the unconscious. It seems like Gestalt or Pearls is really focused on dream work being the royal road to integration. And I just didn't really agree with that, especially if it's just, dream work. And so I thought that there was just too much emphasis put on that. But I did, of course, like the here and now, the words and the gestures, and, all of the experiments that he has, I thought were really interesting as well. How does it deal with trauma? I think it certainly can be very successful or helpful anyway, because you're trying to bring that to the here and now. And you're asking a lot of how questions. How does that make you feel? You're asking a lot of what questions. But again, I think although it might be very beneficial, it can be also very unnerving because you are reliving those things. So if it's a traumatic experience, I don't know if people are going to want to go there again. And it might be too raw for them to be able to relive it. So I think that it might have its benefits, but it certainly could have its drawbacks depending on what that trauma is. And then in regards to what resonated, I think I already touched upon those things. You're dealing with the here and now. You'll have a myriad of different experiments. And the thing that really didn't resonate with me, of course, was just the emphasis or hyper emphasis on dream work and it being a projection. Of how people are experiencing others and what that says about you. And lastly, I really liked all of the defensive mechanisms, if you will, kind of like projection and a couple of the other ones that were really interesting as well.